Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Steelchair for your Royal Rumble preview. I am of course the host, channel owner, who will not be overruled. It's Reece, joined by Keen and Daly. How are we?
We're doing all right. It's Rumble Day. I have been caught by the winters. It was eventually going to happen, so if I'm a little bit rougher sounding than usual, first, that's going to be an achievement. And secondly, just don't mind it, because it's Rumble season and we're all about being positive, bringing the good vibes. You've got something playing like we're in a speakeasy right now. But of course, it's not just us, Reece. We are joined by Keen, if he's there, that is.
Oh, I'm here.
Right, perfect, cool. So we've got the full house, all three of us. And we'll be giving our predictions for the Royal Rumble, which is obviously tonight. Gunther so very helpfully letting us know that it's Sunday for the Europeans and, of course, the former Europeans as well. But we're just going to take it match by match, give our thoughts, perhaps put some pitches in, and a quick little warning for the father of the Steelchair, as he likes to call himself, the Christian of the channel. If you put odds in this stream, I will send the audience to kill you. We're leaving odds out this stream. It is pure vibes.
Okay, so we're going on that route then. Okay. Yeah, I second that. If I see any in the live chat saying, oh, fuck, this is 5-1, 3-2, all that shit, you'll be banned for the channel permanently.
Whoa, permanently. Bringing the big hammer. The big ban hammer.
I don't care if people bet. You can bet all you want. I mean, that's fine. That's not a problem. But
yeah, no, just don't go posting like Vicky's odds. Don't go telling us like so and so's favorite or whatever.
Do that in your own time. If you want to say who your favorite is for the Royal Rumble, then do it in the live chat like a normal human being and say who's your favorite, not because. Oh yeah, because he's 5-1 on Betfred, or Sky is giving him this. No one cares for that shit.
Anyway, speaking of someone who is 5-1, as in if 5 people were beating the shit out of him, I'd probably want to make it 6-1. We're starting with I know that the running order says to start with the Rumbles, but we're not doing that because the Rumbles are the most interesting conversation. So we're going to start with the US title.
No, we're not.
No?
No, we're not.
What are you wanting to start with then? Because I think the US title is the least exciting.
We are starting with the US title.
What the fuck? Right, okay, go. Right. Keith, who you got for the US title?
Man, this match.
Definitely though.
This match, I think for many people who dealt with Logan Paul 2 years ago when he first started, I don't think we could have foreseen that he would have been doing matches like this on a big stage in the Royal Rumble. But I do think that this is a great contrast in styles in terms of in-ring ability. Like if you look at Kevin Owens, he can have a methodical style, but also he can kind of go through the paces, and he can be very hard hitting and have a direct kind of in-ring style. Whereas Logan Paul, he's very erratic. He kind of goes at this one pace. It's a lot of spots. He tries to adapt a high flying ability. So from an in-ring standpoint, this match I think is a very good contrast in styles. And I'm very interested to see how Logan Paul can maybe adapt to kind of slowing down the match. Do maybe a bit of storytelling rather than kind of a spot fest. That's what I'm really interested to see, especially kind of on a big stage like the Royal Rumble. But in terms of the build up to the match, I think the build up has been quite good. I think especially for the fact that Logan Paul is playing, I think, the heel character very well. We all know he's a dickhead outside of the ring, outside WWE. We all know he's an absolute arsehole. But I do think as a heel, he fits the role so well. He does. So he's actually annoyingly quite entertaining as a heel. But nevertheless, I do think it could actually there's room there for it to be a potential show stealer, depending on obviously on kind of how the match goes, and obviously I think the Fatal 4-Way could be entertaining as well. But when you look at the fact that it's 4 matches, this actually, if you're talking about in-ring work, this could be the show stealer tonight.
I think the match is going to be good, but I don't think it's good. I think Kevin Owens has done this a lot when it comes to like people that should have a good match with Kevin Owens. I think it's going to be serviceable, but I don't think it's going to hit any sort of heights. And I could be proven wrong. And unlike Reece, I'm happy to admit when I am. But when it comes down to it, I don't think this would be a match that we'll really remember. I mean, even as far as Logan Paul's career, I think this match is going to be fine. I don't think it's time to even think about taking the belt off Logan Paul.
Oh no.
I don't think that's in their mindset either. I don't think that's anything they want to do anytime soon. But in terms of will it be interesting on our way there? Yeah, sure. Just Kevin Owens doesn't really have friends, and obviously he's made some enemies throughout the tournament. So I guess the interesting thing would be, do any of those enemies, Theory, Waller, even Carmelo, if he wanted to start making a name for himself, do they get involved? That would be the real intrigue.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you look at like the way this match is built, obviously he's had a bit of heat with obviously fucking Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and the fact that that story, not even the storyline, but that rivalry hasn't ended. That's been kind of brewing over the last couple of months. Maybe they can cost them the match because Logan Paul's the way he won the title, he won it obviously by a dirty finish. And I do think if you're going to continue that in his character, I do think it'd be like, I know a lot of people like clean finishes. I know Reece likes a good clean finish, no pun intended.
Depends on who it is, though. That's the question.
Yeah, I'd love, not love, but I would like to see that kind of trend continue with Logan Paul's character in terms of kind of being kind of a chicken shit heel. I do think it in a way, I'd like to see maybe Theory and Waller cost him the title, and then maybe Owens maybe enters the men's rumble later on, and maybe someone comes back in the rumble and might help Kevin Owens. I'm foreshadowing here. Nevertheless,
I could see that happening. Anyway, I guess we'll hand it over to Reece, because as I say, we want to get this sort of out of the way, really. So Reece, who you got? What are your thoughts?
I'm expecting a title retention, but this match is not going to be good. And the reason I don't think it's going to be good is I don't think Kevin Owens is actually as interested as he used to be. I think, like you said about it being serviceable, I think just on the base of it, then that doesn't give confidence. That doesn't give an impression that it's actually interesting. But
he's
Logan
Paul at the moment.
Logan Paul's come on leaps and bounds. I still think he's a bit of a waster, but he has come on leaps and bounds. I'm still not remotely interested in him, but he does bring at least interest to what he does, and I will praise that. In terms of Kevin Owens, I think he's washed. I like Kevin Owens, but I do think he's washed, to be fair. I think if you put this match out, give it 15 minutes and then move on. But other than that, I'm eager to see what they do. I sort of agree with Keenan in that sense. I don't want a spot match in a sense, but I don't think we need a lot of spots, but Logan Paul really does like to show off. So I'm expecting a few.
I'm just interested to see if Logan Paul could have a technical wrestling match, though, because I know the spots he does are great and his matches are entertaining in that sense. But I'd be interested to see if he could actually slow down his style a bit and do it like from a storytelling standpoint, like in ring. Can he do that?
I don't think he can personally.
And are we saying ref bump or like interference, brass knuckles? What's the?
I'll go interference. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory will cost Kevin Owens the title.
Yeah, that's fairly strong. I was thinking like they can't do a ref bump because that'll steal the gimmick from the next match that we're going to talk about. But we've all said that Logan Paul is going to win. If Kevin Owens was to win, I don't see what that then does or will do for the US title that's more interesting than
You lose
Logan
to
Paul
LA
still
Knight,
being
just like
champion.
you lose to LA Knight regardless. He's the next
Yeah,
US champion anyway, so makes no
Yeah,
difference.
so
to me.
Logan Paul should retain here.
The US title. The US title means fuck all anyway, so I didn't care. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, but Logan Paul holding it for a bit, getting some younger eyes on it, getting people watching, obviously ahead of this Netflix move and all that stuff. It can only be a good thing to keep the belt on him for now. And
if I wanted a younger eye on this title to make it interesting, I would have put the title on Santos Escobar, not Logan Paul. But
but remember, people are afraid of people who don't speak English, so they had to take that into account as well.
That's why Nakamura's never been a world champion in WWE.
Yeah, and speaking of never been a world champion in WWE, the man you just mentioned, LA Knight, has a chance to change that tonight, but he's up against, obviously, the current champion and two people who have indeed been multiple-time world champions in one man's case, multiple times over. His accolades are, they make Roman Reigns seem like a jobber. For how long? There's a nice little voice break. For how long that Randy Orton's been on top in this industry. We are, of course, talking about the fatal four-way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship of the World. It is Roman Reigns defending against the phenomenal AJ Styles, LA Knight, and the Viper, the Apex Predator, Randall Keith Orton. So, I guess we'll throw Reece first on this one. What you thinking? Please do it without saying the word boring, because you sound like you cut a promo on Lance Storm.
Lance Storm is cool, so behave. To be honest, I'm expecting this match to be 85 to 90% triple threat, and then Roman steals a pin. But I think in general circumstance, if there is a ref bump in this match, then this match is worth fuck all. This match is worth nothing.
There will be.
There will be, and it'll be very stupid considering a fatal four-way is no DQ, and it's very stupid to have a ref bump in this one. But when I look at it in general, circumstance being, there's two elite wrestlers, the current champion and the wild card. In terms of who's going to win it, it's not going to be the two elite wrestlers. So Randy Orton and AJ Styles are already ruled out. In terms of Roman Reigns, I'm expecting a title defense anyway because he's going to potentially go on and lose at WrestleMania. And I say potentially because I still think he'll probably end up breaking Hulk Hogan's record. So that means Royal Rumble next year. As for LA Knight, he's had a relatively good 2023. Where he had to redefine himself after one of the worst matches last year, which was, funnily enough, at the Royal Rumble, and that was against the recently, the deceased Bray Wyatt. Not his fault. It just did not work. And the feud just went to shit. In terms of himself throughout the year, though, he did revamp himself. He got himself back into a sense where, whether it be a mid-card title or the world title scene, he is believable. The fans are on his side. He's fun. He's exciting. His promo work is very good. His match quality isn't as great as AJ Styles, but it's still, for himself as a brawler, it's still meaningful. Randy Orton obviously returned for War Games, where he's looked okay so far. He hasn't looked vintage, but that's obviously because he's been out injured with a back injury. That's normal. He had spinal fusion surgery. So I'm expecting Randy Orton to hopefully deliver, not a masterclass, but I'm expecting him to deliver a strong performance this evening. Even if it's for 15 minutes, where he isn't the main focal point of the match, that's fine. That's not a problem. That gives me a sense of we've got something here to build around. Roman, I'm expecting typical Roman, where he'll start for about 5 minutes. He'll do his typical taunting, do whatever the hell he wants. Paul Heyman will get pre-coming himself because he loves to get horny for him. And then after that, the match will kick into some speed. We'll move up a bit. I think AJ Styles is actually going to dominate the match. He'll be the one, in terms of a match set where it's multiple man, AJ Styles does excel in these matches. I think he'll be the one who'll be the one to formulate the match around. But then I'm expecting Roman to either submit or pin LA Knight. I don't think it'll be boring, but I think it'll just be mostly a triple threat, and then Roman will just get the win. Similar to what Lesnar did a couple of years ago.
I'm glad that you mentioned Lesnar, because, I mean, we are starting to get there, you know, with this reign. He is starting to feel a little bit, just in terms of the title defenses, it is starting to feel a bit like, okay, well, what are we actually doing here? And the Fatal 4-Way was a good shout, and I think it at least adds some level of intrigue. I mean,
I'm also thinking of the Fatal 5-Way as well that Roman, funnily enough, was in, that he did win. What was that? 2017, 2018? It was the same thing. Like all these multi-man matches, they always bring down one or two of the card that you've got within the match. One or two will kick in, and after that, it'll pile up. I'm expecting the champion to be vast majority of this match to be non-existent, get the win, and everyone says it's one of the best matches of all time. I'm thinking it'll be fine.
Throw over to King. Let's throw over to King.
I think it'll be a good match.
Right, King. What
I think, like, look, one thing I don't want to see here, it's something I'm really getting sick of Roman Reigns' title reign right now, is, like you said, the typical ref bump, solo interference, spike, spear, 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of getting sick of that now. Like Roman has had so many big wins in his career that, do you know what I mean? He should be that type of heel that doesn't need outside interference. Now I know there's his head of the table, bloodline. That's his character. So ultimately, he has the bloodline to stand up for him, and they're going to help him whichever way they can. But the problem with that is it's the same formula they're doing for 3 years now, and unfortunately, I think the fans are getting sick of it. I think they kind of stretched that line out when Joe Solo interfered with Cody Rhodes last year. It was kind of like, you've done that in the main event of WrestleMania. Do you know why? And they're doing it every fucking pay-per-view now. And the problem I'm seeing with this is the intrigue of this reign is just more of a box-taking exercise rather than a historical reign right now. They're just going through the motions in terms of same finish. Roman's going to retain, and that's it. All right, on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking at this match, and I'm hoping for a good showing. The likes of Randy Orton and the likes of LA Knight. Like AJ Styles speaks for himself. We all know he can put on a good match. But for LA Knight, I'd like to see him. Obviously, the fact he's in with 3 elite wrestlers, I would like to see him obviously on the big stage in the Big 4 pay-per-view have a really good showing. And Randy Orton as well. Reece mentioned we haven't seen much of him since, but to be fair, he's only been on TV matches since he's returned, and he had a brief stint in War Games. I think tonight we'll see a lot more we'll see vintage Randy Orton, no pun intended. We will see obviously his clean work, he'll make it look seamless, and I do think we're looking at Roman's reign being in jeopardy. I do think tonight we'll see Randy Orton probably get by the typical Roman Reigns 2 and 9 fucking tenths kick out when Randy Orton hits him with an RKO tonight. But you both spoke about LA. I know Reece mentioned LA Knight taking the pin, but if we're saying LA Knight's going on to WrestleMania and potentially win the United States title, do we kind of have him take a big loss before WrestleMania?
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with that, because when you look at the run, especially when you look at after this theoretically, and I don't mean this as a dig at LA Knight, because obviously when I seen him in other companies, even when he took a big loss before he won a title, it never really hampered him, because he was still in tune with the fan base. They were still behind him in a sense.
Yeah, but remember, people watch this company, Reece.
Right, behave yourself.
Remember that people watch WWE, so if he I'm with Keane there. I don't think LA Knight
It doesn't hurt
keep
him.
the pin.
It does not hurt him if he takes the pin at the
No,
Royal Rumble.
I think
doesn't-
Randy Orton needs to take the pin. If Roman's
don't.
retaining, I think Randy Orton needs to take the pin. And I think Randy Orton needs to take the pin because ultimately everyone else is more hurt by doing it. I mean, AJ only just came back from injury and hasn't really. I mean, he's been shoved into an angle where someone else literally took his spot. And I know that we're talking like, oh, LA Knight versus Logan Paul. There's your WrestleMania US title match. But what it's occurred to me is that LA Knight and AJ Styles should really be having a match at WrestleMania. Whether you found a way to get the US title on that, I don't think it needs it. Especially if you can tell a story about goings on in a 6-sided ring somewhere in a barn. Then people might, pick up on that. Impact will thank you for the TNA will thank you for the free publicity. So whether WWE would actually
you realise
do
that they're hitting 1 million views a week on their videos on YouTube and nobody watches them, aye? All right, sure, come back to me.
Yeah, no.
But
it's just you and all your burner accounts, man. We know this, but I think Randy Orton's the one that can afford most to eat the pin because he's Randy Orton. Like he will get another match. He will face Solo at Mania or something. Like he will do something. Whereas like AJ Styles, and I get it, AJ Styles is a huge name, but he's not got the legacy of Randy Orton, and he's not on fire like LA Knight. So AJ Styles can't afford to beat the pin, otherwise
Can I throw a spanner in the works, like 80? Can I throw a spanner into the works? Do you know the way AJ Styles has been really bitter at the moment, and he's clashing with the OC right now, or the Good Brothers, whatever the fuck we're calling them, right? Whatever we're calling them now.
The OC's been the name that they're still using. So yeah.
Yeah. So like the fact that he's clashing with them, and he's starting to really turn on everybody who's kind of close to him. Could that not tell a story more if he eats the pin tonight and that makes him even more bitter, and then maybe that starts more of this kind of full on.
Not unless it was their fault, because otherwise we've just got the Drew McIntyre thing happening again.
They're not going to get him. They're not going to interfere though. They won't interfere on his behalf at all.
See, I've never understood this. If heel interference works so well when the referee is down, Roman's done it enough times now that there should just be a babyface contingent. Like, imagine John Cena just comes down as part of like a babyface contingent, like leads like 8 or 9 babyfaces, and they just like beat Roman Reigns to a pulp, like, and Solo and Jimmy and Heyman. Like, I feel like that is the sort of comeuppance that this Roman Reigns reign should get.
We more or less really got that at Mania with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
But not really, because it didn't hurt him worth a shit, and he just got to blame the Usos. It needs to be Roman Reigns getting humiliated.
I agree, but I'm going to come back to you on this sense where why would you do it the Royal Rumble when his record
to get the belt off him so you can have a champion that Netflix want, maybe.
Netflix already have the champion that they theoretically desire though. Because when you look at it though, Netflix in the sense that are looking for numbers. I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns, I never fucking will be. But when you look at everyone else around him, unfortunately, he is the one that brings in the most interest that they want. When like SmackDown ratings, they only drip by 200,000 when he isn't on a show. They're still over 2 million.
No, I get that, but I think they're going to want a world champion on Netflix that's maybe, doing more than 3 defenses in 8 months.
End of the day, though, like, as much as I don't like it, it seems to be a model they're happy with. And Netflix are not going to have a say about who is and who isn't on that show. They're just getting the rights to who's getting Raw for the next couple of years or whatever, 10 years actually.
I think for that amount of money, they'll get to have some form of say. And I mean, remember, it was the USA Network's the only reason that we even have the World Heavyweight title back. So, don't doubt the power of the money that's paying for the show. Anyway, I think we're all
like
saying
Saudi dictating. It's like Saudi dictating to what legends WWE bring back. For the Saudi shows. Remember when they used to bring back Taker, when they brought back DX and stuff like that years ago? Saudi dictated to Vince. Well, they also asked for Andre the Giant, but he was dead. But you know what I mean.
And Yokozuna. Yeah.
And Yokozuna as well. But money does talk at the end of the day, and I do think with a big TV deal, streaming / TV deal like this, not that they'll have creative control, but what they will say is we want our ratings to be our numbers and our viewing numbers to be the best they can be, and a full-time champion is something that they will want 100%. Because, and I do think with the return of CM Punk, let's say he wins the world title, CM Punk brings in numbers, whether people want to talk, whether people love him, whether people hate him. He is a conversation. I do think that if he's a full-time champion, let's say if Roman is going on and has this title for another year, maybe CM Punk being champion might negate that a bit because he's must-see television.
The minute Roman loses anyway, Roman fucks off for good anyway. The minute he loses, he's got nothing.
It'll be a long time anyway. But basically, what we're all saying is Roman isn't losing the title tonight.
No. There's only 2 pay-per-views theoretically that Roman Reigns loses the world title at. Well, 3 if he does go all the way to Royal Rumble 2025. It's either WrestleMania or SummerSlam. That's it.
I know we're all saying Roman Reigns across the table. We're all saying Roman Reigns wins. Is there a scenario? And I know Reece might like this scenario. Is there a scenario with the new TKO board member coming out and costing him the title tonight? Randy Orton wins number 15, and Cody and Randy finish the story in a different way at WrestleMania. Would you?
Yeah, I like that. I would like that. I think that's good. Because I think Roman and Rock's your match, right? But it also doesn't need the title. I feel like Cody and Orton could happen without the title, but I also think it is very much boosted by the fact that Cody would be looking to finish the story
against his mentor.
And it would be against Randy Orton. But when we come onto the Rumble, the men's Rumble, we can obviously dive more into what we think is going to happen there. No, I can see someone else getting the pin because it's the second time, in Roman Reigns' entire reign where this has even been a possibility. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's only had the triple threat, and then every other match has been a one-on-one defense. Yeah,
where the Raw man won.
Yeah, now both of them are doing jobs on AEW. Nah, at least Edge is Copeland is winning. He's not the same guy. Anyway, so let's get on to talking about those rabble-robbles, the Royal Rumbles, and we'll start with the Women's Royal Rumble. Before we go into who we think's going to win, obviously, I don't need to ask if we're excited. It's a Rumble. Of course we're excited. I know that certain people we speak to are probably not very excited for the Women's Rumble on account that it's women. But we will be talking about this match first and then ending on the men's one. So, who you got as a surprise? Show up, debut, return, one-off in the Women's Rumble? Because I'll start. I think, unfortunately, Trish Stratus comes back tonight.
I would never say unfortunately to that, but yeah, I do think she will come back tonight.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I just wonder if she's too green still. She didn't have any training.
She's ready to go.
She didn't have any training, Reece. Those matches that she had in AEW were shocking like that.
That's because look how she was asked to work. She was asked to work the short, quick matches without anything else. She was still training with Bryan Danielson, but there was nothing further.
She was only asked to work short, quick matches because no one in their right mind wanted to watch a 25-minute Jade Cargill match. There's a reason. It's because she's greener than chlorophyll.
You're not going to work a woman of that stature, that similar style for 25 minutes. WWE will not do the same with her.
she's been working in
No,
a performance center for months now. And the thing about this is, I think if WWE are going to have her debut in the Royal Rumble, I do think it's a number 30 via number 30 entrance, big pop debut. I don't think it'll be anything too major in terms of ring time. Maybe she gets a few eliminations, and though she looks strong, gets to the final 3, final 4, maybe.
Can you say it's nothing too major?
No, but what I'm saying is, like,
it's nothing too major if she's number 30.
No, like what I'm saying is she won't win the match. Like, she won't win the match. I don't foreshadow her winning the match. But in terms of she'll make an impact, but she won't win the match. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by nothing major. She'll come out, she'll look strong. She won't have, what I mean by not major is there won't be significant in-ring time, like you're both saying, in terms of she had limited in-ring time in AEW. I do think she's had time in the performance center. You'd like to think she has got better, but at the same time, Joe, you don't want to overexpose her, and that's why I'm saying number 30, come out, get a couple eliminations, get that pop from the crowd, and hopefully then she can build her character from there. But I don't foreshadow her win. I think there's a lot more deserving women in this Royal Rumble.
There's only one woman. There's only one woman for me.
I mean, I want to make it a little clearer. Jade Cargill didn't get the time on AEW. That's true. Jade Cargill also shouldn't have got that amount of time in AEW if nothing was happening with her training, and it wasn't. So who's going to watch with one person? But it's like the whole Hook thing, isn't it? It's like, oh well, surely Hook's learned how to work by now. It's like, no, he's not, because his matches have been in front of no one, against no one, for nothing. So you can't, much in the same way that you can't just throw Jade Cargill out. Number 30, I think, is too much, especially because I don't know if that gets. I don't know if that gets the reaction that they want, because, well, like her Olympic, they have introduced her, but people don't know really who she is. So that debut would have to be, if it was number 30, she would have to win the Rumble.
Shayna Baszler entered number 30 and didn't win the Rumble.
We said
Shayna Baszler entered number 30 and didn't win it and looks strong.
Yeah, but Vince McMahon wasn't going to book someone who looks like that to win.
Well, we won't talk about Vince McMahon, but yeah.
No, Vince McMahon just picks mechanism over a genuine talent.
I'm aware. Stop. But it's not. We said we were going to keep Reece out the rabbit hole. So what else do we think? I mean, people have been theory crafting about Mercedes Moon. What are we thinking?
It's weird because all the reports coming out suggest that he's going to that pissant company, in the words of Triple H. But it'd be epic to see her and Naomi both come back at the same time tonight. I'd love to see the pop them two again, because they left under such bad circumstances. If there's a return, I'd love for both of them to come back in the same night, because, I think there's a lot of unfinished business them two have. I think, like, you look at the women's division, there's so many good matches they can have. The likes of Liv Morgan, the likes of Rhea Ripley, they have them locked horns with the likes of them. Obviously, then you have the likes of Bayley and that there, who Bayley's is in the midst of a very good story right now as well. So if I look at Sasha Banks or Mercedes or whatever you want to call her, I do think there's money to be made of her coming back, and especially Naomi's had a brilliant run then as well in TNA or Impact, and she's recently left there. So they're the two I'd like to see, or maybe even Liv Morgan. I know she was recently busted for getting caught with weed, but if she's in the clear, I'd like to see her come back. She'd had an Iron Woman performance last year as well, alongside Rhea Ripley.
To hell with Liv Morgan. To hell with Liv Morgan. I want to see Alexa Bliss.
And do we think we would get the debut of the supposedly incoming Julia? Or no. I think that's too. I think no one would get that.
She's not out. She's still under contract with New Japan. I'd be very surprised if they managed to agree that. So no, I don't see that happening at all.
Well, as I was told, AJ Styles was still under contract. with New
AJ
Japan
Styles. AJ Styles'
on the
contract
Rumble
had
day.
ended. His contract had ended before the Rumble had even started.
Well, that is conflicting reports, but in any case, I don't think
his
it's meant to
contract
debut.
His contract had expired after they'd done the tag match with Omega when he faced Nakamura in the tag match. His contract expired then, but that was his last contracted match to New Japan. His contract was up then. He was still like free agent coming into WWE. They didn't know if he would go there. He made the right choice in the end, though.
And then one more question before we discuss the winners. Well, unless anyone wants to offer up any more sort of theories on who they think could be showing up.
Lita?
What's Taya Valkyrie doing?
Ty Valkyrie's in AEW still.
Yeah, but is she?
Yeah, she was literally on screen with her husband literally the other day.
Well, that's fine then. That's fantastic and good for her. I hope she's really happy.
They didn't use her properly either. They didn't know what to do with
no
her.
TV time. Exactly. That's why I'm saying, poor girl. She could, just give a go at the main roster. I know she was released, so that's slightly different, but still, it's different management, etc. So, I
don't think Lita should turn up in the Rumble either. Going back to what you were saying there, Keen, I hope not, because she looked washed at WrestleMania, or unwashed. Regardless, she did not look good at all. And I hope to hell she's not back in the ring again. I've got all the respect for her years ago, but nah. I got all the respect for during the Attitude Era, but nah. I don't want to see her back in the ring.
You got anyone else to offer up, Keen?
I was thinking maybe, obviously, I mentioned her a minute ago, maybe Liv Morgan, because, obviously she's been out quite a while, and, the last Rumble she had a really good performance. I know Reece wants Alexa Bliss to come back, but she's only recently after having the baby, so she's still on, is it paternity leave, maternity leave, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
She's still on that, so I doubt it. I doubt Alexa comes back, but I do think Liv Morgan's more likely, and maybe, I know Reece said that fucking Lita's washed. But at the same time,
she was awful, man. She was awful WrestleMania. You can't deny it.
Oh, she was. But at the same time, she was also taken out. And you mentioned Trish Stratus potentially coming back. Is there a quick 5-minute cameo of them two in the Royal Rumble? They're legends. They get a pop.
Well, I mean, I've been told that was apparently last year Trish's best run in the company. From many people, that's how they felt. And I thought up until that last match, she was terrible. The cage match was good, but I didn't like that run at all from Trish. So I'd rather not. But no, I could see Lita, I could see Trish, obviously. Michelle McCool, because she's a staple of these things at this point.
It would probably be
the Undertaker chance will happen when she comes out, won't they?
Yeah.
I think AJ
Michelle McCool comes out on Taker's motorcycle.
There's a big one.
I think Melina might also return as well for the Rumble.
Mickey James?
See, I don't think AJ Lee's in it. I think Mickey James could be, but I don't think
I don't know.
AJ Lee's showing up. I think this is people just getting awfully hopeful.
It's more of a want than an actual guarantee. Like I'm saying, I said she might be. I don't think she will.
Not everyone realizes she doesn't need to do this.
She isn't shape to go for, that's the only difference.
Yeah, but in terms of success, she don't need this.
No, but it would give her something. It would give her something to do, though. It would give her something, like a sense of I ended at WrestleMania winning a match against, two cunts. I think this would be a whole lot better for her in that sense, but we'll see. I doubt she'll be in it. It's more like
I'll give you one, but she'll get eliminated very quickly. Is Kelly, someone like that? They'll come back.
Oh yeah,
that'd be an atypical return.
Like a Kelly or a Layla, Vicky Guerrero,
Ivory, Molly
Santino Marella.
He's too busy.
What about Ava Raine?
General manager of NXT coming to the Royal Rumble? Possibly.
Well, we know that she is an actual wrestler as well.
She's still green though. Like she is, like
Yeah,
she's green as well.
I'm not saying at number 30. I'm saying like number 7, so they can just, and then you could just cut backstage and Paul Heyman's just like nodding.
Just have her walk out, thrown over the top rope, and then Paul Heyman, I don't know, he has a fit. Who knows?
Didn't William say R-Truth picked out a number for the women's Royal Rumble and says my bad?
Yeah,
that would be funny, but you're more likely to see Rhea Ripley walk into the men's Rumble and just get the living shit kicked out of her.
that's not gonna happen.
That's not something we promote either.
I'm not saying we promote. I'm just saying it happens to every woman that goes into the men's Rumble, apart from China.
Beth Phoenix didn't really, did she?
That was
not to the extent of Nia Jax.
That was
Hey, hold on a second. In 2010, Beth Phoenix didn't really get the shit kicked out of her. She got like a GTS and got thrown out.
Exactly. That's not really getting the shit
awful
kicked
to
out of you.
No, Nia Jax got the shit kicked out of her. She got like
that's what I'm talking about. She got fucking 619 RKO.
Super kicked.
That was just
super kicked.
Music. She's not like most girls.
Well, anyway, so speaking of Nia Jax, is she anywhere on your list in terms of? I mean, I think Final Four is pretty strong.
I hope she isn't anywhere close to that.
But how are you going to throw her out, Reece?
It's quite easy. You gang up on the cow.
That's not very nice.
She's
been doing well since her return. She hasn't hurt anyone else yet. So
she's not hurt anybody, but she's not done anything worthwhile to watch yet. So
you need to go back and watch her match on day one. I was genuinely impressed.
I didn't think I watched the match on day one. I thought it was okay at best. I didn't think it was something special.
Anyway, so let's rather than going competitor by competitor, I'm going to throw Keen first. Keen, pitch your favourite, not using bookies odds, please, for the Royal Rumble. Who do you think is going to win? How do you think it plays out? The floor is yours.
I had a favourite up until 3 weeks ago. Like I was really saying that Becky Lynch was going to win it and go on to face Rhea Ripley after it was teased on Raw, but with how they're building the Bayley / damage control story, I do think Bayley has to win it. Like I do think she's teasing, I'm going to go face Rhea Ripley. The Kabuki Warriors are going to win the tag team titles, and she's foreshadowed everything that's happened. But I just love to see her win it. Then though she turns on, or whatever happens, whether it's damage control turn on Bayley or Bayley turns on damage control, though I think that feud has money written all over it. And looking at Bayley's performance in War Games, like she deserves a match on the big stage. So, and if you look at her career, she's won everything. She's won Money in the Bank. She's won the tag team titles. She's won both Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. The only thing she's left to do is win the Royal Rumble. So, from that perspective, I'd love just to see her complete the lot, and then obviously go on to WrestleMania and win the big one then.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Bayley, and I understand the damage control angle. It's not where I've gone, but I'll save that for last. So Reece, you're up. Who are you pitching?
No, it's you. On you go. I'm still deliberating between two.
Okay, I've said it since I think before SummerSlam. I feel like what happens on Raw dictates what happens on SmackDown, and I feel like on Raw we haven't had a proper challenge for Rhea. I mean, like something that feels difficult for her. And dare I say it, I still don't think they could even. And I understand how you're saying, yeah, they make it look like she's going for Bayley. Like, oh, that's great because Rhea Ripley is going to be afraid of Bayley. Whereas something we know from prior history, someone who's been very, very quiet as of late, but someone who always delivers. In my mind, the greatest female wrestler in the world. I don't mean that as sort of, put down sort of praise like a subcategory. She is also amongst one of the most consistent workers in the world right now, period. I'm going Bianca Belair. I think, and this was before the WWE 2K cover, so I've not just fallen for that. I think your match is Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I think it could be the best match they could do that we haven't seen before. So obviously Bianca and Becky, unbelievable. Rhea and Charlotte, really good match. I feel like Bianca versus Rhea has been this one that we've been waiting for ever since the final two of the 2021 Royal Rumble, where, you know, this was teased, this was put in front of us. And I wanted it from there. And the way that these two have grown into their characters and they've put on matches that have been very impressive, I just want to see them fight. So I think Bianca Belair wins it. She's obviously got history with Io Sky, so you could even do the teasing thing. Where it's like, I'll go after you, Io, because I've beat you before. But you've beat me before, so we're settling it. And then she just goes, no, I want Rhea. And there you go. They might have had a singles match in NXT. That eludes me at the moment. I do remember the final two of the Women's Rumble 2021. And I think this would be a fantastic match to do. And Bianca Belair would become the first ever, if I'm right, two-time Women's Royal Rumble winner.
Yes. And yeah, they did face off in NXT. Rhea Ripley smoked her.
It's a very different Bianca Belair, though.
Still the same, the only difference is experience. Same way of working, no real difference except experience. I mean, okay. I mean, to a degree, we did mention it last year, potentially Rhea versus Bianca. We did say that last year. It's not a bad idea. But, again, it does offer. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that match does offer a lot. But to be fair, though, you don't necessarily need Bianca to win the Rumble to get there. This is WWE.
Yeah, much in the same way you don't need Bayley to win the Rumble to get her match. You know, that works both ways.
Yep. That's why I've gone a little bit different for who I think will win it. That's purely because I want a little bit of a curveball on it. I think in terms of the outstanding favourite, it is definitely Bayley. I hope to Christ we don't see Becky Lynch win it. Like, I don't.
Very nice.
I don't care. Like, I'd rather be honest and go, oh, it has to be her. No thanks. Bianca isn't a bad shout either in terms of like how she's been the past couple of years. You would expect her to be in that conversation because in terms of dictating her style, she's not bad. Like, she's not bad at all.
So who are you going for?
I've gone for a complete spanner in the works, and I've gone for Dakota Kai. And I have consistently said Dakota Kai for the Royal Rumble.
Is she ready to be cleared yet?
She's
I was about to say, is she even gonna
she's
be in it?
Go. She's clear to go. Whether she'll be in or not, I'm not sure. But I have consistently said for months Dakota Kai to win the Royal Rumble. Even when she got injured,
I like it. I like it.
You're not likely to do it though, because you're more likely to go for a tried and tested big star right now, and you're likely to go with Bianca or Bayley. I think that's smart. I think that's reasonable. I've just gone for the spanner in the works, and I've went for Dakota based on I'm just staying consistent to who I've said throughout. But if you're going to put in terms of if she's not cleared for the match though, I still think Bayley wins it. It makes more sense than Bianca. I'd rather have Bayley than Bianca right now.
I get that. I just
because again, you're just doing the exact same thing that people have complained about for most men for years. You're just
I get it. I like
it's a waste. It's a waste.
I like Bayley. but I don't think she's very good as a champion. I don't think she ever has been.
Based on what exactly?
Based on her title reigns, as that's what being a champion would be.
Her reign for over 300 days on SmackDown was one of the best reigns SmackDown had in a long time for women.
Was it?
Yeah, it was actually.
I can't remember it.
That was in lockdown, wasn't it?
That was during the lockdown period, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually, for once, Reece, I'm going to actually agree with you.
Especially when she actually gave Charlotte Flair a good match, which Charlotte Flair hadn't done in a long time. What's another thing?
Yeah, no, she's never. I feel like this could be a thing to do with like the way that she was booked from NXT. She's never lost that.
Was it? Like the hugger gimmick wasn't great when she was booked like that.
But she's never lost that scared little girl energy that I get from her. Whenever I look at Bayley, I see her afraid to use a kendo stick. Like I don't, and it doesn't help that this heel had that awful match. One of the only bad matches I've ever seen of Bianca Belair's in Saudi Arabia.
That match was getting nothing for both of them, regardless. Bianca Belair didn't get a good reception as a babyface. As a heel,
I'm aware, but the match wasn't good either.
But
like,
also
dodging a golf cart, and then still, the golf cart spot was so weird because they moved out the way a minute ago, and they still went for it. You're like,
that was poor. I'll give you that, but then I'm also going to flip the switch and say, in terms of good quality, though, you just have to look at the match that they had at Extreme Rules. That was actually a very good match between them as well. That was a good match to counteract the Saudi comment. The Saudi one was poor. I will not argue that. But the match that Extreme Rules was excellent. Every champion
I also feel like
women's-wise had bad matches.
I feel like since NXT, and again, it could be a hot take, and it could be like, no, you just hate Bayley. I don't hate Bayley. I just don't buy her. I just don't. I don't think she's.
That's fair.
I don't buy whenever she has the title, I'm waiting for the person to come along and take it off her to feel like a champion again. Bayley, as I say, is just scared little girl energy. I see that NXT character, and yes, it was iconic, and it was good. It was good, and Bayley versus Sasha in NXT was very, very good. But on the main roster, she hasn't done a whole lot that's very, very good compared to her peers, including one that's no longer in the company, maybe coming back to the company.
I don't think she gets a lot of credit and recognition that she deserves. Out of the four of them, I think she gets the least amount of credit. I think when you look at the fact that she was the first out of the four of them to win the Grand Slam as well, when you look at whether you think that's important or not, I don't particularly care about the Grand Slam, but she was the first one to do it, especially in the order that it perceived. She'd done on NXT first, then she went to the main roster. She certainly had the work of it. The kendo stick situation with Alexa Bliss, that was very tedious, but then you got to look in the sense of when she did turn heel, the manner of speaking that she made the Rose plant with the Steelchair very interesting. The Hell in a Cell match with Sasha Banks as well was excellent. I think.
Okay, and this interesting story we're talking about. I'll throw this particularly at Reece because he's been crapping on the bloodline. Would you not also say that Damage Control has only had a good couple months? Because remember that you had a problem with the bloodline storytelling because it dipped and it came back.
There was
Damage 2 or 3 times where it dipped. Is a lot lower than the bloodline step.
I also think as well, when you significantly do it, I don't think you can compare the two. I think and the reason I'm saying this is because when you look at interest I don't think as many people up until towards the end of 2023, where people were really starting to take an interest in Damage Control, especially when Kairi Sane returned to the company as well. Asuka joined them. It gave him a real sense of, okay, are we going to see something significant here? I think leading up to that, that's a fair thing to say. But when you look at it in general, there was more eyes on the bloodline. Therefore, you can tell when the dip was going to come and when it was going to potentially reestablish itself. With Damage Control, it's just been the whole way through up until recently, where it's gone up. The bloodline significance had an up, and then it went down a lot until Sami Zayn got involved, and then after that, it's been ever since. I don't think you can directly compare the two. I think
I want you to voice your thoughts here. Am I being harsh on Bayley, or like what's your take?
I think Damage Control as a faction, though, they stagnated for a while because they kept eating loss after loss after loss after loss, and their credibility kind of went down a bit. Now, I think Kairi Sane and Asuka coming in to freshen it up. I do think they're actually doing a bit of storytelling now with the fact that they're making Bayley the scapegoat, so she's starting to show a bit more character, and the rest of them are being snakes almost. You can see Io is kind of pulling the strings. Well, it looks like Io is pulling the strings. I think Dakota Kai, there's something there at the moment where she's looking almost innocent. Yeah, she's definitely pulling strings there. But I think the booking of Bayley hasn't been great recently. To be fair, I do think if they do turn her face, the one thing I don't want to see is she goes back full-fledged hugger gimmick. Because I do think that that got very stale very quick on the main roster when she came off from NXT, and a lot of people, they start booing her, and people started losing interest. So, I have a lot more confidence in this creative team that I do have in the previous regime. So, yeah, I don't think you're being overly harsh, Ailey, because I do think there's ways that she's been booked in the past. I do think maybe she's a victim of circumstance. But look, it remains to be seen. We'll see how if and when they do turn her, how her character evolves. Because I do think as a heel, she's done quite decent work. She had a good reign at SmackDown Women's Champion during the lockdown. So I do think we just have to wait and see what happens, how they book her kind of going forward.
I think that's realistic in a sense.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that's more realistic in the sense of it. I think when you look at in terms of opportunity and working, not many of your top main event talent that you've had is going to go in a whole year where they lose 87.5% of their matches. Like, in terms of actually working someone like that, in terms of a main event talent, you don't do that unless you've got something in mind as a big payoff. So in that sense, like, you're not going to see Becky Lynch do that because she would not allow that. I don't think you're going to see Charlotte Flair do it, but that's because it's Charlotte. She's got a lot more stake in the game because of her name.
Becky's done a couple of high-profile jobs recently, thank you.
I never said she didn't do that. I said you're not going to see her go and do the big, massive loss percentage that Bayley's done. You're not going to see them book her like that. So
does it matter? Does the loss percentage matter, or is it the magnitude of those losses and the consequences that they have?
Both, because they wouldn't do it unless they're thinking there's a big payoff and there's something focal point here that we can work around. If you just keep having Becky Lynch lose all the time, you're going to get a sense of moaning, whereas with Bayley losing all the time, it's always been...
You're going to get a sense of moaning because her and Sasha Banks sat outside a door protesting because they'd lost their titles.
That's different. That's losing a title. That's how you've gone around it. They're not good. I haven't seen anyone move with it.
You're talking about superstars eating losses, right? I think Becky Lynch can eat a certain amount of losses because she has a name, she has star power, so she's a draw. So in that sense, she's the first, obviously, woman to win the main event of WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? She has kind of mainstream.
Under dubious circumstances, yes.
Yeah, so obviously within circumstance, not unless they had her lose the fucking jobbers on main event, then yeah, look.
No,
I
I'm
think,
talking about winning the main event of WrestleMania under dubious circumstances.
yeah, she was booked to win it anyway, but just the finish was obviously horrible. Yeah, but I do think if you look at her star power, she can lose certain big matches because she's Becky Lynch. She's a star. Bailey, on the other hand, you can't have her lose every single big match because eventually what's going to happen is, she won't be taken as a credible main event talent in the women's division. I do think the thing about this is now is the fans have interest in her. She's getting a huge pop every week. You have to kind of capitalize on that now and book her correctly. You can't especially if she goes WrestleMania and she faces Io Sky or maybe Dakota in the triple threat match or wherever the scenario may be come WrestleMania.
That's a concern.
You can't have her eat a massive loss and then make her look weak again, because how do you turn that around?
This is a concern I've got for WWE's creative in general.
But is it something you even have to turn around if she always looks weak anyway? Anyway, that's where I'll leave. I don't think
not done yet. We're not
I
done
don't
yet.
think she's. Well, we're going to have to be, because there's only 20 or so
right.
minutes left, and we've got to go to the men's rumble.
We're moving on in a second, but I just want to say as well, on the basis of it, just losing all that or capitalising on a moment, that's one concern I've had with WWE for a long time, is capitalising the right moment for the big moment, men or women. There's times where they fail to do it and then they just lose out. They've got to get the capitalisation on this one right, if this is indeed the end goal. Now you can move on.
Fair enough. All right, so we are on to now the men's Royal Rumble, the main event, or at least the one that we're most looking forward to. Apparently the card order's out. I didn't read it.
It's the semi-main of the night, yeah.
I sent you the card order, Eddie, and I tagged you. You should have fucking read it.
I know, but I didn't read it.
Fuck you.
Right. Anyway, we're at the men's Royal Rumble. I guess we'll start with a fun little few minutes of speculating. I'll go first with who I think could be a shock in this one. Hulk Hogan, anybody? Look, that vignette, he said it with purpose, right? See, when he said, you don't know, I might have one more in me. I've had this thing of it won't be number 30. I think it could even be number 1.
Only if there's a trained sniper on standby.
I don't think Iron Man. Let me make that clear. I don't think Iron Man. But I think he would have to. Because if he's not the number 30, he'll be number 1 or 2. Because you can't just have, it's not like when maybe Roddy Piper randomly entered the 2009? Is it 2008 even? 2008, when Piper and Snooker come down. This is Hulk Hogan. It'll blow the roof off the place if he's agreed to do it. And it's just ever since I saw that thing where he was like, I might have one more in me, brother. It's like, oh, you do, don't you? You're going to appear.
I hope to God I do not see him in a match again. God almighty.
So I think we might be getting the Hulkster for one more night, maybe. Do you think he maybe looks at Ric Flair and goes, well, hell, if you're still doing it, brother, why don't I?
He looks at Ric Flair, looks at Sting, maybe he's thinking, fuck it, this is the year of comeback/retirements. Why the fuck
his
not?
knees will give out by the time he gets to the ring.
Did Hulk Hogan ever have a formal? Did he ever have a formal retirement? I don't know Hulk Hogan's career.
TNA was it against Sting?
Yeah,
was that
okay,
yeah.
That doesn't count. So in front of people, did he have?
It was in front of people. Behave.
Did he have a WWE? Did they acknowledge it? In front of a sold-out farmhouse.
It wasn't.
4 people and a mule watched as Hulk Hogan hung up with his boots against Sting. So yeah, I think Hulk Hogan might be showing up. That's my sort of wild pick for a random appearance. Who are you saying?
wild pick. Now I have like proper returns in my head already, but
Yeah, no. We're starting with your batshit one.
Yeah, we'll go with the bad shit first.
Yeah.
I didn't think this through. I didn't think I'd be asked a bad pick. Fuck it, I'll go.
No, bad shit. It can be good.
No, I'll go bad shit. We'll go bad shit first. I'll go JBL just for the crack. JBL.
Okay, yeah. No, I could see JBL doing it. He's been on screen in NXT, half mentoring Josh Briggs. I could honestly see that. Maybe even Josh Briggs via JBL. You know, like maybe JBL's music hits, and then you think, oh, he's going to get in the ring, and instead he's with Josh Briggs. No, I could see that absolutely. Okay, Reece, who are you saying?
Scott Steiner.
Yeah. Again, maybe Scott Steiner comes down with Rick, and they have Braun Breaker with them. You know, like there is heritage all throughout. You know, so yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, Keaton, you said you were boiling up some actual returns. Who is top of your list?
Top of my list for returns. Number one, Sheamus.
Yeah, that's a solid shout.
He had a match against Edge, with Edge's retirement match from wrestling. And it was a decent
wrestling.
So on that, I'll go Sheamus, number one. Number two, Andrade. I think it's probably one of the worst kept secrets that he's destined to return to WWE. And I know you're probably going to ask me my predictions for Iron Men, and maybe one of my two returns, may not be. But they're my big two from like active talent that could return. Big E, maybe. I know he was speaking to TMZ the other day, and he said he's unsure, but he's been injured nearly 2 years now, and how can the diagnosis be unsure after 2 years whether he can return or not? So that's where.
See, I liked Greg's pitch for Big E, that he comes out and does commentary.
Pat McAfee probably come back to do commentary though, will he? Oh fuck! There you go. There's another surprise entrant. Fuck commentary. Pat McAfee in the Royal Rumble. There you go. Book it.
He's almost definitely asked to do it, hasn't he?
Just because Reece shook his head, yeah. Book it right now. Pat McAfee in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that's a great idea. Right, Reece. Who have
I wasn't
you
shaking
been
my head at McAfee.
seriously?
Oh.
No, who have you been seriously thinking? Return, debut, shock, one-off? What we're thinking?
I agree on Andrade. Like, I do think that is a possibility to happen. I think Braun Breaker will main roster debut will be in the Royal Rumble.
That's technically wrong, but it's okay.
You said that last year too, didn't you? You'd Breaker in your Final Four last year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still wrong because Breaker's main roster debut was losing the NXT title to Dolph Ziggler.
Well, interesting main roster debut then, because nobody really cared.
Dolph Ziggler's interesting. It was the NXT title, and he won it back, and it was a good feud. Shut up.
It was average, even for NXT. It was average.
I enjoyed it.
I do agree.
So obviously, a popular theory going around is that
if Hulk Hogan's in the Royal Rumble, by the way, I'm gonna fucking turn it off. I'm not even joking. I'll turn it off.
That's not very nice.
Hulk Hogan can fucking get rid for all I care. Hate the cunt.
All right. You keep it light, people. It's a Saturday. Anyway, there's been a theory going around that certain Mr. Friedman's there. I think he's actually shoot injured.
He won't be.
So I don't think he'll be there.
I'm right.
I'd love to see it.
I did see a tweet the other day. Someone said I better step up my my scarf game. So make of that what you will.
That was Boozer That was BWE. Yeah,
Yeah.
BWE done that. I don't think he'll be in it. Andrade, yeah. Sheamus, potentially. It's not a bad shout. I think Wade Barrett's a good shout in the chat. That's not a bad shout.
Does anyone know what Rey Mysterio's injury was? Because I don't know his timeline. Yeah, I don't know his timeline though. Like I don't know what it was.
He won't be available. Put it that way. He's out. He won't.
Yeah,
be
I think
won't be a Mania either.
it's too.
I think his timeline
it's
wasn't his timeline. I think it's right around Chamber time.
He won't be back till after Mania. I think. I don't think he'll actually be active till after Mania if he's lucky.
No, because he's got to put Dom over this year.
That's if he's able. He's long confirmed.
Are we forgetting that he has unfinished business with fucking Santos Escobar though?
Well, yeah, but this is when Dominic Mysterio takes over the LWO. Like
that's my idea.
I think we need to go back to this, by the way, because if you go on the stream that we were talking about it, I said it first. You just kind of commandeered it, took it further. But I said I think Dominic Mysterio ends up becoming like the heel leader of the LWO, and you just kind of went, "Oh yeah, I like that."
No, I'd feel
for it.
I feel Don't steal.
Am I your fucking ghostwriter, am I? Anyway, Rey Mysterio's not going to be there. MJF's not going to be there.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of interest in returns. No. I don't think you're going to see a lot of returns.
X-Pac.
Like that.
X-Pac, possibly.
X-Pac.
Road Dogg maybe as well, because it wouldn't surprise me. Mates Rates. I think there's going to be a lot.
Oh, I think all of production will stay out of it.
I don't think there's a lot feasibly that are going to return. So.
It's not so much a return, but it's a main roster return. Baron Corbin.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Former Golden Gloves boxing champion, don't you know?
Boxing's rigged, lady. What are you on about?
That would give a good way for Braun to be in the Rumble as well. If Baron's in it, it would make it interesting.
I have one for you.
Yeah.
It's just something I've thought about. It's a debut, right? WWE's in contract with Endeavor now. Would they have like an ex UFC legend, like someone called Ken Shamrock?
As a return, maybe.
He's talked about it recently.
I think you're more likely to. He's one of them. I think the other one, if you're looking at Madness, you could see Cormier.
Oh yeah, that'd be
just
crazy.
To see him, just to actually see Daniel Cormier run.
Conor McGregor.
No, he's currently drinking somewhere.
He's currently being irrelevant. I don't know.
I don't think Conor McGregor's ever irrelevant to Ireland, but anyway.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of returns. I mean, I would like to see Braun square off with Scott Steiner in a Rumble just once. That'd be good. But
what's the story with Braun Strowman?
He broke his neck.
Nobody cares about him anyway.
But no, because I was saying this, and I do feel kind of bad. I was saying, God, they've really wasted Braun Strowman ever since his return. I didn't realise he was getting neck surgery.
We could see Omos though as well, which would be embarrassingly boring.
Omos is pretty much a stick-on, because how do you throw him out?
Great Khali.
Hang off on him. That would be.
Dare I say, I think I'd actually like Omos to be in the Rumble. Omos is an attraction in terms of, whoa, look at the size of that guy. So if he just comes out like every Rumble, builds his match for Mania, has his match at Mania, yeah, whatever, like that's not hurting anyone.
Looks like we might not be getting Lesnar though.
No, yeah, but let's not talk about.
He's pulled out. We're not going to discuss anything else. I'm just saying that comes from PW Insider, literally like a couple of minutes ago. He's pulled out and he's getting replaced by NXT talent.
Brock Lesnar, multiple time Final Four in the Rumble. But
He's a
what are we
multiple
saying?
time Rumble winner.
Who's favourite? Well, yeah, that too. But you know. So who are we saying is the final four? Who are the final four names?
I'm not interested in the final four. I just want to hear who you've got for your final.
I know you're not, Reece, but Keen, give us a final four because Reece has been a Debbie Downer.
Fine, just Keen, give me a final four.
Greg Chambers is going to shoot me next week in Edinburgh for saying this. CM Punk, Gunter,
okay, yeah. Right.
Andrade,
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes is not in my final.
Cody Rhodes will win the Elimination Chamber.
And I've been conflicting with my opinion on who's going to win this between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the last kind of a month or so. And every day I'm switching whether it's Cody or Punk. But I do think, like with Seth Rollins being injured now, Seth Rollins can't cost Punk the match. So I do think CM Punk is going to win. CM Punk's my winner. But I do think we're looking at CM Punk's my winner. But when I look at Cody Rhodes specifically, I look at the fact that the Fatal 4-Way is the second match of the night. It's long enough for the Bloodline to come back in and interfere, and Cody gets cost the Rumble. Joe, quite similar stage with Undertaker. I know he didn't get cost the match in 08, but remember, an Undertaker got eliminated kind of in around the 20s mark. So I do think around there, Cody's going to enter quite early. He's going to have a good showing. I do think the Bloodline will be Roman and Solo, who will come out and cost Cody the Rumble. And then CM Punk will eliminate Drew McIntyre to win the Royal Rumble. But on top of my final four, my Iron Man is going to be a returning Andrade at number 4. And he's going to last to the final four.
Okay. Right, my final four. I mean, I'm gonna buck one trend immediately. I think Cody Rhodes will be in the final four. I think CM Punk is pretty much a stick on for that sort of spot. And then it gets really tough because there's just so many people. I wonder if Priest will be there. On account that he's actually, he's said, whether it's when I cash this in or win the Royal Rumble. So, he wants both, and fair play, we like that, and we know that they like Damian Priest, and I think he's all right. I think he's perfectly fine upper mid-card guy. But he's got money in the bank. He's part of the best stable at the moment. So, we've got to stick to that. I also think that if he is in the final four, you could do some really funny things with R-Truth on the outside. Sort of like trying to coach him, maybe like trying to get a ladder out for him, or like trying to, help him escape or something, where he's like, okay, now you can leave. They're all down. It's like, R-Truth's just great. And then the final guy is just such a tough one to say. I think it's got to be someone who's at least got prior with one of these guys. So my head goes to someone like a Nakamura. Nakamura's never fought Reigns, or at least not in this reign. And he's not over the fact that he didn't get the job done against Rollins. I don't think Drew McIntyre's there. There was a theory, it's not mine, but I heard that it's basically based on a film, and it was Brian Last that said it, so Jim Cornette's favourite person in the world. And he said that basically it's the plot of a movie, I think an Arnie movie, where it's like, I'm going to kill you last just because you're a funny guy. And it was like kind of similar to how CM Punk said, because I'm such a nice guy, Drew, I'll throw you out last. I think Drew McIntyre's getting thrown out first. Especially because he's not signed his contract.
Reminds me of Commando.
That's exactly the movie. It just escapes me. Yeah, no, it is. It's Commando. But that was the movie that was referred to, and I'd quite like to see it. Actually, I think it'd be really fun. Not the movie, because who's got time for movies these days? But I'd like to see Punk come in, throw Drew McIntyre out first. Maybe Punk would be an early entrant, so we could do some Sermon on the Mount stuff again. You know, maybe. But I don't think the Punk is like that. But yeah, that's my final four. So what you saying? I know you don't care, Reece, but what you saying?
Yeah, if we're gonna go. Fuck it. Final fours then. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, and be quick because you guys are on a show. By the way, catch that show. United are against a much larger team in Newport, and you can watch that right after this. So quickly, Reece, go.
Nah, just for that, I'm gonna take my time. You know, because punctuality.
You can't take your time. You're going at 6.
Punctuality is important these days, or it depends on how you view it.
Easy, Hangman. Right, go.
What I do think for final four, and it's no, like, I've been deliberating mine for a while, is Gunther is immediately in my final four. Cody isn't, and I don't think he should. I don't think Cody should be anywhere near the final four. If anything, I'd eliminate Cody in the final 10. I'd still have him go a distance, but fight like the final 10. CM Punk makes a lot of sense to be in a final four. I still want to see someone like an NXT talent. I'd like Braun Breaker to be in the final four. Like, that's what I said last year. I'd like him to be close this year. It's not going to happen.
Braun Breaker,
Braun
Breaker, Reece as the NXT talent, and he's currently with Cora Jade, but also Cora Jade's idol in CM Punk in the final four. How is the world?
Cora Jade's also, well, she'd have to watch from a hospital bed. So we'll see how she salutes that one. I'm going to go final four, Gunther. If he's able to do it, Sami Zayn.
Fuck, I forgot him as a return. Fuck.
CM Punk. And I'm going to go Nakamura. I think either Braun or Carmelo's the NXT talent. I think they'll get eliminated just before the final four. But still,
not one of them.
And then very quick process of elimination would say that. So I'm going CM Punk to win.
I'm going Gunther.
And Keen, you said Gunther, didn't you?
No, I said CM Punk.
You've gone Punk as well.
Punk's the obvious winner for the right reasons, but I've gone for Gunther based on what I've consistently said for the past year. But I would like to see it at WrestleMania. But again, if Punk wins it, I'm happy with that regardless, because Punk's a heat magnet. I'm on board. If Punk wins it, I'm not bothered. If Gunther wins it, great. Like, I just want to see a good outcome to it. Gunther, in my opinion, deserved to win the Royal Rumble last year. Cody wasn't around for months. He was just doing these vignette returns, gets the number 30 and wins it. For me, even though Gunther had a strong year, it took away a bit of Gunther. So hopefully they don't make that mistake this year.
Fair enough. Right, well, I'll let you guys get away because that is, of course, the next step for you. It's
got to be on time,
Man United, because someone has to. But this has been a lot of fun, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the Royal Rumble. And we will just end it with that. Enjoy the Rumble, enjoy your weekend, and we will speak again once everything has transpired.
We shall. Bye to all the fools in the universe. Just kidding. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend and enjoy the Rumble.